A question that I've been asked no less than 100 times, and I'm sure Casey as well, is should you get your real estate license in order to be a real estate investor? Casey from Brick by Brick, thank you for being here each and every Monday. What do you think? Should people go out and get their real estate license?
I'm with you, Michael. I hear this question all the time, especially from new people thinking that they have to have their real estate license in order to be an investor. So I happened to have my real estate license, and I still have it. There it is.
Yeah.
From California. So I was a real estate agent starting in 2007. But the goal then was for me just to be an agent. It wasn't to be a real estate investor. I didn't think about that at the time. But when I moved to Tennessee, I did all the things thinking I'm going to get my real estate license in Tennessee. And so I took the extra classes and paid the fees and even had a test date scheduled and paid for the test. And I didn't do it. I didn't want my license. And I might get it now, but that's only because rules have changed. So if people are thinking about, should I get my real estate license? You got to think of a couple things. First of all, do you really want to do all the work? And, doing all the heavy lifting for you and the negotiating. There's something to be said for that and kind of keeping your distance from that. On the other hand, you can be responsible and do it yourself, if you live in the same state. A lot of people get their real estate license and don't even invest where they live. Yeah. And for me, I have my real estate broker license. So I was able to use my California license in Tennessee and get referral fees. So I have my main office in California, and I use my California license to get referral fees. So it's worked out for me. Granted, it only costs me $300 every 5 years to keep my license active in California. I don't have to place my license with a broker in Tennessee. You have to think of the fees and the cost and if it's worth it to you. It costs about $2,000 a year just to have an active license. So how many deals are you going to do? How many deals, And looking at the math, and it's easy, but I'm not a math person. If you sell one $70,000 house, right, and you get 3% commission, you'll break even with the $2,000. So you'll break even selling one house, getting the full commission, acting as an agent. If you're just doing the referral fee method like I do, if you sell a $270,000 house or multiple, adding up to $270,000 and you get 25% referral fee of a 3% commission, you'll break even. So if you're doing tons of deals representing yourself, I guess it could make sense if you're doing several deals. But most people aren't starting off buying multiple properties. And before the rules changed, it didn't make sense at all because your buyer fee was always paid by the seller. So why do the extra work? But now that it's kind of changing, it could be worth it if you're doing enough deals to more than pay for the cost.
Yeah, it's funny. When I hear this question all the time, it typically comes from people that have a full-time job. Again, that's very much my audience. But, they always go to either access or save money. Right? Which is an interesting way to think about it. Again, a lot of people that follow me are thinking about saving money, but not realizing they're the buyers. And again, historically, to your point, the buy side was paid by the seller. That is obviously changing given regulations. It's not as clean as it used to be. And the other thing I think when I get this question is I got to be intellectually honest. In 2018, when I no longer had my job, I actually did study and pass the California real estate prices. So I had one of those little California things as well. I never used it. I shouldn't say that. I did a referral fee to another agent and I got 50% of my property sale. So I think we sold 2 apartment buildings in that year or 19, because I think they're good for 2 years at a time, or at least mine was. And I was able to get some commission back. That said, the reason I got it was in 2018, I believed that the MLS had extra data and extra information that I was not receiving in Zillow or Redfin or like thing. What I quickly uncovered, other than one field called agent comments or whatever they were called.
Agent remarks.
Yeah, agent. Yeah. Thank you. Agent remarks. All the data was there. And 99% of the time, the agent remarks were garbage and irrelevant. So this access to information that was going to make my job easier, because believe me, I never wanted to sell a home. I never wanted to do open houses. That was not going to be me. I just wanted more information to make better decisions. And it didn't happen. And I never renewed. I never took any continuing education. And I was glad to let that thing go. I will never get my license again because I just don't see, for me, the upside.
Me too. I didn't either. And I knew that if I got my Tennessee license, that I would feel this obligation to start selling houses. And that's what I hated. I hated doing that. I didn't like being a buyer's agent. I hated driving around, especially in California. You could drive hours in one direction for a client. Like, I mean, at least in Memphis, it's, you know, you're not, after 45 minutes one way, you're in like a farmland. Like you know, but I would go from Orange County to Los Angeles down to Temecula. And, you know, like, a lot of driving, especially if someone didn't buy. So I hated that. So we're almost 12 years in Tennessee, and I still do not have my Tennessee license. One thing I think people also forget about is the different types of brokerages. And if you're a new agent and you don't have the knowledge of all the forms and the rules and the regulations and things you could get sued over, there's two different types of brokerages, right? There's like a full service brokerage where you're going to get training and and you know, your commission split is smaller, but they provide a lot for new real estate agents. But you have to go to weekly meetings. You have to work the front desk. You're required to do X open houses or So it's like, it's a lot of extra work. And then when I say that to people, they go, oh, well, you could just go to one of those no-name brokerages and pay a flat fee. Sure, but you're not getting the support. You're not getting the new forms and the new information. You're not getting training. So those are places where agents that are established and have been doing this for years and don't need the training and support, they'll go to one of those $300 flat fee brokerages because they don't need the extra help. But for a new person who doesn't know the forms and all of that, should probably go to one of those full service places. But now you're talking about going to Tuesday morning meetings and having to do all this extra stuff. It's like, is that what you really want to do? Or just forget about the commission? And, you know, it has to be really worth it. You have to sell multiple properties a year or expensive ones, you know, to cover the $2,000 approximate fee per year to do all that. And then more if you actually want to make money. So it's definitely not necessary as a real estate investor to have your license.
Yeah. The other reason, and really the reason, again, I'll stress the reason I don't want my license is you are held to a higher standard in transactions, right? If you're doing creative financing and all of that, and you have your license, you are automatically assumed to be the expert in the transaction. And that just means liability, pain, suffering, all of that I just never want to endure. So that is the big reason I didn't renew my license, was because I didn't want to be held to a higher standard. Even though I like to operate above board and all of that, it's just who I am. I didn't like knowing that there could be all of this liability behind a transaction done years ago because I had that license. And so again, it's you've got to realize that if you're getting a license, there is additional costs, liability, disclosure, all of those things that you have to do so much more of. Disclose. That just wasn't worth the headache for me.
Yeah, I agree. It's not just about, oh, I'm going to go like hurry up and get my license. It's easy to pass and I'm going to save some money. There's extra liability there that you might not want to be a part of. And it is good. It is really good, I think, to have somebody else, an agent, as a third party representing you between transactions. Like, there's just something to be said for that because it takes emotion out of it. You get someone's other point, the other person's point of view. And the seller is not seeing all your colors, because you're the one representing yourself. So for me, I prefer not.
Yeah. So again, I think we're both on the same side, not going to get it done. But let's flip the coin again. We are working in an environment where real estate agents are leaving in droves. The competition is falling. If you were going to get your license this year, it's probably the best year that I can think of to get it, because you're not going to make any transactions anyway. So you might as well learn, network, start building your Rolodex of clients, prospects, go host every open house you can so you can learn the business. I think there'll be plenty of real estate. Like here's the deal. If you like working with the public, like that excites you, which it scares the hell out of me, but hey, some people like it. Being a real estate agent could be a tremendous career. It's a lot more time flexibility. You can really call your own shots. You can partner with people. You can create or be a part of a team. There are lots of reasons to say a real estate agent or real estate broker is a tremendous career. Just go into it eyes wide open. It's not more information. It's not this. It's not that. But again, I don't want to poo-poo it. If you like working with the public, by all means, I think this is a great year to start. Competition has never been lower, and if you can get in at the bottom, you should have a decade or two of growth from here. So that's kind of my closing.
I mean, there's pros too, right? There are pros to having your license. So we dig on it, and here's all the cons. But I mean, a big pro and why I'm always like, yeah, it's because I really dislike. Now, I get to invest where I live. I dislike having to call the agents all the time to get me to see a house. Like, ugh. I would like to just go when I want to go, not have to make appointments, and go see houses that I'm really not going to buy, but I just want to see for competition.
Yeah.
Just to know the market, just to know the area better. I do feel like don't like wasting people's time. So the pro would be you can get into the houses on your own. You don't have to bother people, and you feel like you're abusing them. So that, to me, that's a big pro. Plus, content creation for me personally, be easy to go film and show students like, hey, this is what this type of renovation would cost, or this, so there'd be extra perks for someone like me to get my license. But I think the biggest pro for most other people would be they can go whenever they want, and they don't have to feel like they're annoying their real estate agent with too many showings.
Yeah, the last thing I'll say is a pro, again, especially if you're part of a big office, right? You're part of a team, you will have more deal flow, right? These things used to be called pocket listings or whatever. They're coming in, somebody's got to sell. You're going to be in the stream of opportunities. Now, it's not going to be, a huge wave, but you should probably get, 5, 10 opportunities a year to look at. Maybe 1 or 2 of them is worth writing an offer. But anytime you can put yourself in deal flow, which being a part of a big office with a big name on a big team will give you, there's some upside to that.
Yep. And I'll say too, so going to investor group meetings, right? We have our local investor meetings, and there's a lot of real estate agents at investor meetings and a lot of investor agents. And there's a couple of brokerages that I know of in Memphis that really, really cater mostly just to investors. They'll sell to homeowners too, but a lot of it's investors. So when you at least can even go to those meetings and get to know them, like I've gotten several opportunities from them knowing me that I buy there. And maybe they pick through it first, right? Because that's their office. Maybe they pick through it. Maybe they send me like the sloppy seconds. But even going to those meetings, if you're not an agent and getting to know the investor agents, you can get deal flow that way too.
Very, very cool. So again, folks, we're not saying do or don't. We're just saying understand what you are getting yourself into. It's not cut and dry. Casey, closing thoughts and where they can find you?
Oh, closing thoughts. I might get my real estate license this year, which is why I thought of this topic today. Only because we might start our own property management company. So I'll need my broker license for that. Not to sell to other people though. And I will like to get into the houses when I want. Otherwise, you can find me on YouTube, Brick by Brick Wealth. We put a video out last week on the recession. We got a new video coming out this week on what the best states to buy in for 2025. And you can find me on Instagram as well, Brick by Brick Wealth.
Thank you so much, Casey. Have a great week.
You too.